Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of Quakecon. How's everybody doing? The balls has kicked in. You guys are awake. That's good. So you are all here to see the Elder Scrolls Online, I assume. Anybody in here heard of Skyrim or played it, or one guy, two? We appreciate both of you buying the game. For those of you who don't know, obviously Skyrim is a huge success for us, 5th game in the Elder Scrolls series. You probably saw yesterday we announced the Anthology Edition, but this is a series that's got a ton of history on the PC. You know, in the sort of the recent generation, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online is taking the experiences that you know from those games and taking them online. Allowing you to experience all of Tamriel, not just one province at a time, and most importantly, allowing you to do it with your friends. It's a game that lets you, as all Elder Scrolls games do, play the way that you want to play. So you play by yourself, play with your buddies, go get in giant PvP battles. You can be playing as a magic casting guy and then find an awesome sword and be like, nope, I'm just using this now and I'm switching it up, and that's totally fine. You can do whatever you want, change your skills up as you play. We want it to be a game that you find your way through, which is what all of our games are really good at, exploration-based stuff. Just go and find stuff. No going to town and go talk to 7 people with, you know, little pointy things over their heads to get quests, and then you go off and do it and run back and then go back to the... We don't do any of that. So it's all about be who you want to be, go into this world and play the way that you want to play. And that's what we're here to show you today with our demo. You hopefully have had a chance to maybe stop by and play the game in our booth, but if you haven't, sometime over the next 2 days, make sure you stop by and go over there. We've got a build of the game running where you can go in and experience it yourself. Play the first person with hands and see what it feels like, or play in third person so you can see how cool your character looks like. It's meant to look and feel and play like no other online game that you've played before. Real-time combat system, no watching a cooldown bar, no really heavy on-screen interface. It looks and feels like an Elder Scrolls game, but online. Okay, so enough of my hypey marketing crap. I'm going to turn it over to the folks who have made all of this possible from Zenimax Online, and they are going to walk you through the first live game demo that we've done. And hello to everybody on Twitch that we are streaming right now for the Elder Scrolls Online. And I'm going to turn it over to Creative Director for the Elder Scrolls Online, Mr. Paul Sage. Paul?
Hi. Hi. More importantly than me, joining me on stage, we have a few people who are going to be going through this absolutely live demo with me. So if anything happens, that's good. It's supposed to. It's a live game. So we have Nick Conkle joining us, Rich Lambert, Gina Bruno, and Eric Bakudis. And also joining me are a lot of people watching from home, a team that has made this possible. So if you guys can just say hi to them, that would be great. All right. All right. Thank you so much. So without too much further ado, we're going to give you this look at Elder Scrolls Online, and we're going to go ahead and jump in. All right. So this is the first thing you will see when you get into the game is character creation. And Nick is going to take you through this a little bit. One of the first choices you'll make in a game that's all about choices is which alliance do you want to join. Because it is time of war right now. And the time of war is all about you fighting a battle with your friends, against people you don't know, all over the game. And now we're going to let Nick kind of show you. And hopefully I'll do a little less talking as this goes through, and you get to see more. All right. So Nick's going to take a character that's not brand new. We're going to take you into a different area. If you are familiar with the game Morrowind, then you might see some recognizable landscape and features in what we're about to show you. We're about to show you. And it's an area called Deshaun. So where there are a lot of people that played Morrowind, I take it? All right. So, you know, kind of the story of the alliance that's taking place here that we'll see shortly is that these alliances we have the Nords, we have the Dark Elves of the Dunmer, and we have the Argonians. And there's a lot of people who want to know, well, why are these people allied? Why would they be allied? Well, naturally they wouldn't, because they used to be natural enemies. But after such a time of war like this, or where they had it, so many invasions come into it, they were just like, okay, we're done with this. We can't stand it. We're not going to put up with it. And so they decided to form an alliance. And so you're coming into that alliance right here. Okay, one of the first things you may notice is that Nick is playing in first-person mode. So really important is to get in that first-person mode. Nick can also play in third person. I promise you the third person's good. If you want that situational awareness in PvP, it's great. Now you might also notice how smooth Nick's controls seem. Not only is Nick good, but we have mouse look always on. These are controls like, I don't know, has anybody here ever played an FPS? Do you know what that is? If so, the control should feel familiar to you. So Nick just presses his left mouse button to attack. He holds it down if he wants to do a heavier attack, or to block, he just hits his right mouse button. Now, Nick is also looking around the world. If you notice in the top center, Nick has a compass. And that compass gives him what we call points of interest, right? And what that is, if you see that, he's looking at a way shrine right now. He can turn around and he can look at different things. We want this to be a game of exploration, a game where you can play any way you want to play. If you see something over in the horizon that you want to go do, you should go do that. All right, there's a Gwar and a book behind a Gwar. So these books, again, encouraging this exploration. When you find books like this, it's more than just finding a book that you can read, although that's all right. We also have the books reward you for your exploration efforts. So if Nick pulls up his skill screen here, then what I'll show you is that not only do you get the skills that you have as part of your class, but when you join the Mages Guild, the Fighters Guild, or maybe become a vampire or werewolf, you have these entire skill lines available to you that you pick up sort of dynamically. So on the right-hand side, what you're seeing is an entire skill line for the Mages Guild. On the left, you see all of the different skill lines Nick's acquired. And you can see that class, if Nick clicks on class, you have 3 different skill lines. And now what you're seeing is what we call a morph choice. So as you kind of use a skill over and over, you gain in strength with that skill. And then Nick has made a choice so you can actually take and make that skill kind of behave the way you want it to behave. And so that's just rewarding that growth again.
Need to lighten your load.
Justice knows no sleep. Neither does profit. When there's trouble, prices go up. That's why I'm here.
Indeed, it is fully voiced.
The TC pays me well to make sure there's no trouble. So do me a favor and don't start any.
All right, it is indeed time for Nick to start trouble. All right, Nick. So that was a little look at Deshaun. We're going to take you to another area in Morrowind, and this area is called Stonefalls. Now, what you'll notice is Nick is teleporting pretty easily here. So we think that world exploration is a huge part of the game, but not only is world exploration a part, but we want you to be able to get to where you've been quickly. So we've developed a waypoint system, or way shrines, that allow you to travel to each of the way shrines in the game that you've already discovered. All right, Nick's about to start some trouble. Okay, Nick's pretty high level. Did you notice that Nick just crouched and he became hidden? So that uses his stamina when he's crouched like that. And he gets a sneak shot in. And maybe you noticed that Nick changed his weapons with just the press of a button there and went to dual wield. Any character can use any weapon in this game. Your class does not affect that. You can use any armor. All right. Now let's see if Nick can find anything else new and interesting. You might see a netch here or two. Anybody remember netches? There will be plenty of killing later. We talked about discovery being a part of the game. When you discover new things, you get experience for that. You raise in power for your character. Nick's being restrained today. All right, and that's what we call a Mundus stone. So again, looking around the world, you'll find lots of different things. And in this case, he found something that'll give him a power that he'll keep for a long time. But you know, this game is called Elder Scrolls Online for a reason, and that's because you get to play with other people. So Nick's going to use something that we call looking for group. You might be familiar with something like this. And he's decided he wants to play with other people. And so he's going to try to find a group who's interested in doing the same thing he's going to want to do, which he wants to play a dungeon today called Fungal Grotto, which is an early level dungeon. So we'll see if he can find other people. Strangely enough, he did find other people. And here we are. Now, we talked about, as well, being able to travel to places you've already been. But what if you just want to get into the game really quickly and meet your group mates? Well, you can travel to one of your group mates or to a safe location near your group mates. And so here, Nick is traveled to a way shrine, which is the safest location near one of his group members. Because if you traveled right to them, they might be in a...
To me, stranger.
Indeed. A troubling situation that they couldn't get out of. So I want to put you in a safe spot. All right, and Nick found a sky shard. If you collect 3 sky shards, you get a skill point. And if you get a skill point, you get to buy a new ability or morph an ability. All right, dungeon time? Okay, so in order for this to go a little quicker, I'm going to give you a little bit of the story here, which is there is a person in this dungeon who requests that your group help her to get to a certain location in the dungeon, but she's blocked by goblins and by what we call dreg. And so she suggested that there might be a way to kill goblins and recruit them to help you get to that location. we're going to pause for a little bit right after this. So what you may have noticed is that we want you to fight multiple creatures. We don't just want you fighting one creature in a dungeon. And that's why we've introduced what we call pack behavior, or monsters which will kind of wait in the wings to attack you versus all attacking at once. Now, if you play all Leroy Jenkins style, and then you'll have a ton of monsters come in after you. But here you can see that if you control yourselves, you'll have a really good fight that you can manage, and it's a lot of fun to see these monsters come in after you. All right. I think the team did all right with that one. All right, and that loot is instanced to Nick, so you don't have to fight over loot when you get loot. There we go. So one of the other things is Nick is playing a class called a Templar. And you'll notice that Nick has adopted the role of using a bow or ranged damage. And the whole thing here is that Nick can change his role in an instant with a weapon switch and go to close damage. But the idea is that, again, those classes are just the starting point. They're not the ending point. You play the role you want to play. Now what you'll see is we have NPCs that are working together. We have healers in the background healing themselves. So these monsters really work together against your party. Okay, so you saw we have a very clean interface. And you'll notice what that monster did to Nick, the Goblin King, is it put an ability on him that Nick had to run away from his teammates, otherwise he would explode, and if he explodes, then it hurts his teammates as much. So we want to keep you active and looking in the world. got to heal her down. All right, but the group was able to do it. All right, so Plugi, who died, thankfully can come back. And so we have what we call soul gems in the game. And if you know soul gems, with us, this means you can actually resurrect your allies. So you can choose to do it, or if you have a soul gem and you die, you can resurrect on this spot. If you don't have a soul gem, then you can go back to the earlier start of the dungeon. But every time you die, there will be a penalty and your armor will degrade. All right. And now you can see the goblins are working with the group because you killed their king. All right. Goblins are pretty easy to win over like that. And you can see the goblins are working with them now. That's a lot of mud crabs. All right. And there we go. And that was just a taste of Elder Scrolls Online. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming out and taking a look. If you haven't already, please sign up for beta. You know, I know we always throw that out there, but seriously, please sign up. Also, we are due to release in spring of 2014 on the PC and Mac, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. And thank you for coming out to see this next in the saga of Elder Scrolls and follow up to Skyrim. Thank you guys so much.